I've just been speaking to Edgar, our sound technician, this morning, and we realized a couple of things. It's only until you put these numbers into perspective, that's when you start realizing, oh, time is moving. So if you're watching us this morning, it's saying that, well, next will be around, well, this Sunday is going to be 23rd. And then it says 2016, by next year, it's going to be a decade ago. So 2015, for those guys who are listening, by the way, was 10 years ago. Put that into perspective. And it's until you say these figures, that's when you start realizing that time is moving. Crazy. For those who are watching the show, then you do know that Harambee Stars yesterday also was punished. And you can join us online and Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. My name is much then for beginning your show with us this morning. And the worst thing about that is, even as people say it was just a friendly, unajua hata kama umeambia rafiki yako mkuje mcheze PS na mjabet, rafiki yako kugonge 24-0, inakuanga personal. And that's what happened yesterday. Money walked over us like it was nothing. Yeah? Now all of a sudden, and I do love football. Ben McCarthy is trending, and every Kenyan is saying this morning, fire him. He doesn't need to lead Harambee Stars. And we're going to see some of the tweets and some of the reactions of Kenyans yesterday when Senegal punished us 8-0. And by the way, was that game at the Emirates? It was in London, wasn't it? Yeah, at the Emirates. I don't know whether majority of those players were shell-shocked for Arsenal. So when they're playing on that pitch, they must have looked at Emirates and, wow, their playing styles just got deleted from their heads. Because my God, 8-0. It's a scoreline that doesn't even happen in Sunday leagues. And I play Sunday leagues, I would know. Zile mingi tunawekwangwa ni 4 ama 5, but 8. Divide 8 by 90. It means that after every... It is what it is, man. Anyway, it's a good day. I can see the sun is peaking in Nairobi this morning. It's fairly a calm weather. The sun is playing hide and seek with the clouds, so that's good for us to push the day as we chart the end of this year. All right, on that note, we'll be talking about a lot this morning. For now, let's jump online and see exactly what it is that you're waking up to. We're going to jump into the Daily Nation, see some of the biggest headlines that they're carrying here. And I'll tell you what the headline is. I mean, the front lines are already known. The coalitions have not really come together because ODM is trying to figure itself out. The United Opposition is also trying to figure itself out. But as it stands, Gachagua, Kalonzo in bid to change 2027 poll rules. And this is the proposal that IEBC must gazette all polling stations at least 6 months before the elections to curb ghost stations and ensure transparency. That's what they're talking about this morning. There's also another proposal here that IEBC must publish and avail the final voters register 3 months before the elections to allow scrutiny and prevent irregularities. Third proposal this morning is that IEBC be prohibited from retailing or altering tallying center after constituency declarations. Number 4, IEBC must reconcile all ballots used, spoiled, and used at polling stations before transmitting results to prevent disparities. And the last one is that IEBC to design a results transmission system where constituency declarations are final and reconciliation proceeds electronic results. It is what it is. This is a question that somebody was asking, that why do we have to wait to go to the Bomas of Kenya to declare presidential results? Like, why can't we declare them from the constituency levels, that what has been announced at the constituency level becomes the final result, like the rest of the seats in the country? You're running for governor, you're running for member of parliament, that what is announced at the constituency level remains final. That once we tally it, there is no final retallying at the Bomas of Kenya. And that's elections are going to be gazetted 6 months before the election, so that any other person who wants to verify it can actually get to verify it and make sure that there are no ghost polling stations. At a time when we're having ghost schools, it is possible that you can have ghost polling stations in those schools that do not exist. The Ministry of Education is talking about some schools that only have a gate. Yeah. To the tune of 1 billion currently as it is, yeah? All right. So that story has been covered on page 4 and 5. And this is what they're saying. It's being led by this coalition, we do know it, is being led by President Rigathi Gachagua and Wiper boss Kalonzo Musyoka, that has filed high-stakes constitutional petition seeking to overhaul how presidential election votes are tallied and how results are transmitted and declared. The politicians also want the polling stations 6 months before the elections. Good. On page 2, there is a cybercrimes law which is defective. State agency tells Ruto, and then the pressure is mounting on President William Ruto to reconsider contentious provisions of the controversial Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act. Now, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights termed the new law and an affront to the freedom of expression of the right to privacy. That's exactly what it is. That story has been covered on page 2. On page 12, you'll now pay higher fares as digital taxi drivers get the nod to effect new rates. Wale watu wa 320 na 200 bob as the list ride fare. Ni kama time yenu imeanza kuisha. We do know that they've been going on strikes over and over. By the way, from last week to this week, I know they've gone on 2 strikes, pushing the Ministry of Transport to hear their grievances. And this was saying you'll now pay higher fares as digital taxi drivers get the nod to effect new rates. Now, digital taxi app owners told to align their rates with the pricing advisory the Automobile Association of Kenya, AAK, issued in a 2023. Mambo itakuwa imebadilika bana. Hakutakuwa na 300 bob. And probably at the same time, I'm also hoping that now the taxi drivers then will stop asking you how much fare you're paying. Now uongeze, you know, it's not good. But I know some of them were actually given the technical advantage where it's possible for the driver to know where you're going and how much you're going to pay. Right, you know, that's it. Sosion is allegedly going back to KNUT. There is now a battle between OU and Sosion, fresh battle for KNUT amid ex-post eligibility question. Mr. Sosion, who resigned in 2021, citing intense government frustration, says is under immense pressure from teachers to contest. A story has been covered on page 10. By the way, Sosion was the cabinet secretary positions were abolished, declared unconstitutional, and that's how he's been in the political cold. Looks like a man who wants to go back to KNUT, and they're saying that it is political pressure from teachers to go back and hold his former seat. That's it. Those are the stories that have been covered on Daily Nation. Majority of these are also appearing on our social media platforms. That is a Look Up TV. Over to the Standard this morning, see exactly what they're talking about as well. And there's a headline, slave trade billions. It is what it is. Now, Kenya's labor migration boom has morphed into a political gold mine. For the country's most vulnerable women, it has become a conveyor belt of abuse, betrayal, and state-enabled exploitation. An investigation reveals how President William Ruto was brutalized in Saudi Arabia has aligned itself with a lucrative staffing industry rife with political ownership, conflicts of interest, and guarded workers' safeguards, with the first family's insurance firm at the heart of the business. Why? Prezo bana, kumbe unafanya hii business ya kupeleka watu kuenda kuteseka. I mean, this is a big revelation. So, the president, in that's simply what it means, you know. Now, let's look at these numbers that the Standard is presenting this morning. 1 in 10 Kenyan staffing companies are owned by a current or former political figure, likely an undercount due to concealed ownership. 130,000 per worker sent to Saudi, but spend only 26,000 to meet training requirements. A Kenyan domestic worker in Saudi earn about 31,000 shillings monthly, unchanged for 7 years, and far below the 52,000 earned by a Filipino worker. Look at this one, 260 million, this figure right down here. Agency, Forbes Global Agencies advertised 2,100 Saudi jobs in October alone, a whole worth over 260 million shillings in recruiter revenue. Damn. Those are the pictures this morning. I want to read that story. It's on page 8 and 9. Not much to talk about it. I will just leave it there, you know. It's not up to us to talk about it. It's just for us to showcase. On that note, let's look at your trends this morning then. See exactly what it is that you are waking up to this morning. There's just a lot. I don't know where to start from. Not Harambee Stars. No, I'm not going to start from Harambee Stars. I am going to pick it from what is happening in the country. North is a seat that is highly contested as we currently know of it. That is Rigathi Gachagua versus Reggie G. They've been going door to door to do their campaigns. And this morning, I'll be showcasing to you exactly what they're doing on the ground in as regards the campaigns. And Reggie G is a man whose campaigns are indeed, because we do know that the seat is heavily contested with Wamuthende, that's it, and Newton Kariuki from UDA and DCP party as well. All right, so what Rigathi Gachagua has been doing is been preaching the message of a political deathbed for UDA in the central part. It's going to form any patterns that are going to show us how the central part of the country is going to vote, then this is a litmus test. And Rigathi Gachagua is a man who's not been sleeping on it and has been on the ground. So got a couple of clips. I'll be showcasing to you what they're saying, and I'll be showing you what Rigathi Gachagua and Kithure Kindiki are doing. It's a mirror. It's a copy and paste. Ukikunywa chai, mimi pia naenda kwa hizo nyuma nikunywe chai. All right? So let's see exactly of Rigathi Gachagua doing a door-to-door campaign in Mbeere North. Let's take a look. Because right there of one Rigathi Gachagua on the ground. Unajua hapo saa, lazima uende kwa ground and then talk to the people of Mbeere North and then tell them this is exactly what you need to do. Now unajua, this is not the only one because we have more and more of one Rigathi Gachagua also on the ground talking to the voters as well. And this is what Kithure Kindiki has also been doing in Mbeere North. Let's take a look. See, that is a Kithure Kindiki right there, doing a copy and paste campaign of what Rigathi Gachagua is also doing. Ukienda kwa nyumba pia, and you can see the power politics right there on the ground. It's a copy and paste campaign, and Rigathi Gachagua is a man who's out to prove a point. And if indeed his candidate gets to clinch that position come the 27th, when the country is going to go into the by-elections period, then he's a man who's got a point to put across when the country goes into the general elections in terms of those votes. All right, let's then cast our eye as well what he's been saying on the ground in as regards the campaigns that he's doing in Berbenot. Let's take a look.
Kutoka zamani, sio kutoka jana. Na mimi hapa katika hii sehemu, mimi najua nikiwa deputy president for the last 1 year, nikiulizwa ile mambo nimesaidia ifike hapa Berbenot, tukishirikiana na viongozi ambao wamechaguliwa hapa, naweza hesabu na nitahesabu saa hii. Kwa hivyo wale ambao ni wageni wamefika wiki hii, nao kabla watafute kura ya mtu wao, watuambie na wao siku ile walikuwa wadosi walileta nini hapa Berbenot na hii Embu County yetu.
That's it. I mean, you can hear Kithure Kindiki speak. Is a man who sworn that particular vote for Berbenot. And he's also a man who's out to prove a point, because his question for 2027, his position for 2027 has also been questioned whether indeed is relevant for the UDA politics in that region in 2027. So it's the former vice president versus the current vice president who's going to carry the day. For us, we want to keep on keeping tabs on this campaign, and the results, I'll have them to you as well. Now, lastly then this morning, we do know what Kenya is talking about. I'll read a couple of responses on this, but before we get there, we do know yesterday that Harambee Stars was playing Senegal. It was a friendly match, you know, and like we said, hata kama mtu amekuja kwako kuchokoza na umempatia hiyo permission. I was given an example, stories of PS. It doesn't mean anything, it's not going anywhere. Mtu akaku be a personal issue. Now, we do know how Kenyans are, or as football fans, how we are. You guys are calling for the sacking of McCarthy. Yeah? Do you think it's warranted? Because we're not in the World Cup conversation. It was just a friendly match. Only Senegal in the World Cup conversation. But 8-0 was such a beating to the point that majority of you Kenyans couldn't swallow it. And we got a very nice seconds of what Kenyans are thinking of Senegal now after they disciplined us to an 8-0 loss. Let's take a look at what majority of you are saying online.
Senegal ni watu ambao wanatusikiliza, na tumekuwa na rais wao juzi hapa nchini, tukaitisha friendly. Friendly ni mechi ya kirafiki. Mechi ya kirafiki, hao jamaa wanatupige mabao yote. Wanataka hii mechi wako short Tanzania waoni. Senegal mko mechi ya kirafiki. Mechi ya kirafiki, si mechi ya kiadui. Hii si mechi ya kiadui. Sisi sio colonizers wenyu. Senegal mnatupiga mabao yote. Hii mabao yote tupeleke wapi? Tutaambia nini Tanzania na Uganda? Hii ni mechi ya kirafiki ama mechi ya kiadui? Wanatufunga, acha hata hii isitoshe. Wanatufunga mpaka na kijana ya Tom. Na mzungumzia Mbaye. Mbaye anatufunga bao la 7. Hapana, Senegal must apologize. Their president must apologize. Mechi ya kirafiki, mnatupiga mabao yote tupeleke wapi? Hii mechi ni ya kirafiki, basi mngepiga nayo Brazil. Mngefikisha 10 kama nyinyi wabaya, mngetaka kama mnataka tuwaogope tu kwa sababu mmekuja tuwaogope, mngefikisha 10. Sisi bwana tulikuwa tunataka tunangoja mfike 11 alafu tuanze comeback.
Eti Senegal walifanya vibaya. That's what that fan is saying. Eti bwana, hata kama ni kupiga mtu, kuna mali unafika unaacha. 8-0. It's a test of where Kenyan football is, isn't it? And I wonder we're not in any conversation for World Cup. I mean, if Nigeria can't make it, who are we to be in it? You know? All right, just one tweet here. Harambee Stars this morning. Let me just one. This is Gems. At Gems 1, was saying, well, it's time for us to disband Harambee Stars and only play other games like athletics, rugby, and the rest of them. Your team with jokes too. That's not me, sir. That's you saying it this morning. Senegal is trending as well, and we don't know why it's trending. Just one. This is John James, who's saying, at a Sunday league, IJ fika hapo. It's true, man. All right, and I also see Reggie G trending. We don't know why it's trending. Part of what he's talking about this morning. We're going to go into that conversation this morning, pick views of our guests who are already in the studio before we jump into our conversation. Harambee Stars is also trending as well, not other than just Ben McCarthy. Just want to getting in your submissions. This is it. The defeat to Senegal today is embarrassing. However, our worst international loss was on Jamhuri Day in 1965 when Ghana's Black Stars beat Harambee Stars 13-2. Ghana was leading 11-0 at halftime. Jomo Kenyatta left before the game ended. For those guys who are historians, is he telling the truth? This is Kenyan researcher. Is it true that this is not our worst loss, at least in 1965? Yeah, 8-0 is worse than 13-2 because you didn't have a response. Absolutely, you know. Is it true? For historians, then you can talk to us. All right. James was saying again. We can't help our football team. It's true, man. Anyway, I'll leave that to a sports team. But we know why Reggie G is trending. We've already spoken about it. We know why Kidbre Kindiki is trending as well, and Barren North as well. It's the highly contested constituency in the 27th by-elections in the country. And we'll be keeping tabs on that and reporting to you and giving you those patterns as they appear. Now, on to our main conversation this morning. ODM's 20-year celebrations in Mombasa showed us something that has gotten Kenyan speaking. One veteran ODM leaders and made a declaration. Said she doesn't believe in the leadership of one Winnie Odinga in the context of the 2027 elections mixed with the broad-based government conversations. In front of the leadership, she therefore called on the party delegates conference, elect new leaders that can lead the party into the 2027 general elections. Within that conversation as well, the people have been quite vocal about the direction that the party should take. Other people have been presenting divergent views from the general opinion. One, Edwin Sifuna, has been on record saying that the conversations for broad-based government should stop. Has been on record also questioning the leadership of ODM for not considering youthful leaders when they were awarded positions in government, questioning them as to why they thought that youthful leadership in that party could not clinch party leadership. So this morning we asked them the question, is it time for in the country? Also this morning we look at what is happening in Kasipul. Do you think the young member of parliament is going to clinch it? That is a question. This entire conversation of youth leadership. Where is it taking us? If up to now, they are still begging to be listened to. If you did hear what Babu Wino said, he said, I might not be given any opportunity anywhere to speak about this issue again. But then, quote, kama kuna babu, kuna tabu. That question, is Kenya ready for a youth leadership? This morning, I'll be introducing youth leaders who are in the studio this morning just to look into this issue. Let's talk about it, even in the impending by-elections in the country. Why can't we see a lot of youth representation? Once we come back across all your social media platforms, the hashtag is The Morning Drift. My name is said by Elijah Charles King. I'll see you shortly.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hawa sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mali.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
For you to forgive someone who has hurt you?
How easy is it?
What are some tips, a person
skills? We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. They look familiar. Have we met before?
Oh.
No. We met in the
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? You'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
For you to forgive someone who has hurt you. How easy? What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. They look familiar. Have we met before?
No.
We met in the village.
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles King. Here's the reality. That within our youthful leadership speaking, there have been conversations around who are you to address us as a youth? Who gives you the right to speak the way you're speaking? Winnie Odinga has risen. And her latest declaration is that this leadership that is with ODM, we do not think that they can lead the party into the 2032 general elections. And so what she did, let's hold party elections today, so that we can pick new leaders who can fund this party beyond 2032. And this is a reasoning nobody understands what Baba had intended to achieve with these broad-based government conversations. So many people got talking, and within ODM, completely roused with that particular statement from Winnie Odinga. But beyond that, Sifuna has been speaking, Babu Wino has been speaking, and as we speak now, there's an independent young candidate in Kasipul who's looking at the 27th general election, by-elections, and that would also start forming a conversation whether indeed youth can start to chart their own way when it comes to leadership conversations. So then this kind of conversation is to call youth into the studio so that we can get to hear their sentiments then and know exactly where we are in as regards this particular conversation. Therefore, joining us this morning then, we do have Owen Obanga. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Happy to have you around. Also joining us this morning, we do have Humphrey Omukaga. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, Elijah, and thank you.
I'd like to begin like this, Owen. It's a simple question. If you go back to where youth conversations started taking effect, that youth can start a conversation to change a country, we got to go back to last year when we had a lot of protests in the country that forced the government to make drastic changes and even repeal some chapters of the laws that they were making in this country. I think, Owen, that finally the youth are making a statement in this country. And so when it comes to the leadership and the country is headed into a general election, this will be the best moment for the youth to take up these leadership positions. Owen, from where you're sitting this morning, do you expect that the youth are going to make a different chapter in the Kenyan history?
In my own view, I do see the youth making a huge statement come to the general election of 2027.
Yes.
And even in the by-elections that we're having currently, because if you look at how the demographic is for our country, Kenya, youths carry the largest percentage of population within the country. Have to participate in the democratic processes that are there within the country, including voting.
Yes.
And with that, if they do participate, they'll be able to stamp authority and give direction to the country.
That's it.
Yes.
I'll be coming to you on that, on exactly what we're saying, even within these political parties. And even these by-elections that we're talking about, especially what is happening in Kasipul. I'll be giving you that case study so that we can go back and see if indeed they're going to change the election phase in 2032. Humphrey, do you believe the same thing? That indeed, come 2032, youth are going to be integral in the decisions that the country is going to make?
Elijah, indeed, the youth play a very integral role when it comes to the 2027 and 2032 elections.
Yes.
You have seen, at the moment, the youths are people who have been illiterate, and they've gotten good education, and they know how to advocate for good policies. And also, in addition to that, the world we are living in, it's a very digitally connected world. So once an agenda that is, and most youths in this country, they possess, they are in possession of the smartphones and the internet.
Yes.
So discussions around and any other agenda,
yes,
there is a group or components that the youths are forming that is going to be very pertinent when it comes to the 2027 and 2032 elections.
Yes.
Most of them have realized that they have the capacity. They are not just here as bystanders, but they are coming into these elections as active participants. You can see also in these by-elections that we have youthful representation. Yesterday, the list was released of the candidates who have been cleared by the IEBC, and you can see the youths are there, and they are not just there as bystanders. They are there to take positions in this country. So, in my own opinion, I believe that the youth role in the 2027 and 2032 elections.
That's it. Owen, that the best way for us to start investigating this is how parties then are behaving in the run into the 2027 general elections. Let's have a case study. ODM just cleared their ODM at 20 celebrations in Mombasa. And Winnie Odinga stands up and drops a bombshell and states, no, we got to go to elections now. So we have fresh party leaders to the 2027 general elections so that ODM can start charting its own way. But you saw the backlash that she received. Let me begin. Case in point, one Kileleshwa MCA, Robert Alai, stands and says, who are you to address us about how this party should be led? Well, who do you think you are? And led. You need to shut up so that you let the people who know politics in this country with experience show you how this party is led. Babu Wino stands up, Owen. And you could hear when he's speaking, he's a bitter man. He's asking the question, all you guys who received those positions in the government, you didn't think at all to imagine that one of us, the youthful leaders in this party, would have been given that position. Edwin Sifuna stands up also and states that what Baba did in this broad-based government conversation all the way up to 2027, nothing was spoken beyond 2027, and so we gotta go. Every other person who stood up to speak after that, you could feel there was a push and pull from the youth leadership that is presenting divergent views and the veterans in our party. So Owen, why are we sitting here saying that it's possible that the youth are going to make a decision on how the 2027 general elections are going to be run, when in reality, in a party like ODM, Babu Wino couldn't even be given a seat on the podium. In fact, as I spoke, he said, I'm not so sure whether I'm going to address these party leaders ever like this again. So why are we lying to each other, Owen, that indeed we have a stake in the 2027 general elections?
Party of Orange Democratic Movement is a reflection of not only other parties across the country.
Yes.
And this, I would say, there has been a deliberate structural bottlenecks that have been placed to hinder youths from ascending and taking seats at the central decision-making table within the party structure. And that is what has brought about from the youth leaders, which is quite right, because even those that are senior politicians right now in those positions, when they were the ages of Babu and Winnie, they used to also make this noise. A case example is the late former Prime Minister. You remember when now his father did exit from Ford Kenya, and now he wanted to take up the leadership, and there was a huge fracas in Thika. So it is quite natural that the senior politicians will always try to secure their interest and would want to ride on the backs of young leaders within the country. But the young leaders shouldn't give up. They should rise up the way Winnie did, spoke out, the way Babu did, spark interest within the larger voting bloc. And when the electorates give them a backing, it gives them a standing point in which they can be able to challenge the senior politicians who are making or putting stumbling blocks within their way when they are venturing to dare to at least achieve their dreams, which is to take up these positions and lead the country in the best way possible.
Before we cross over on to Humphrey this morning, we haven't seen an uprising within ODM. I mean, when Babu speaks, you can see the support that he has from the guys who are cheering him. When Sifuna stands to speak, you can see the support that he has from the party members. But even when they do not get the kind of, I would say, audience that they want from within the party, rise up and say, look here, we want those two gentlemen, or we want those youthful leaders within ODM now to lead this party. We haven't seen it. And it's kind of begin like that. I mean, when Babu says, I want to address you, when Sifuna says, the guys who want to kick me out of this party, why haven't we seen an uprising from the youth within the party just to make sure that youthful leadership from within the party is what we're presenting towards 2027 general elections? We haven't seen it all.
Simba, one of the latest moves that youths have done was, I think, a group led by life members of ODM party made a petition challenging the process in which the current party leader was chosen. That was led by Rachel Tabitha, who is an ODM member and equally a youth. So speaking up within the party structure and also challenging the decision that was made, and he's using legal means so that they can achieve that. I think that is also a means of a youth raising a voice.
Yes.
Yes.
But Owen, how strong is it? I mean, how many people are aware that the likes of Tabitha are actually petitioning the appointment of Winnie Odinga as the party leader? By the way, if you did hear from all the submissions that were made in Mombasa, he's not acting anymore.
He is the current party leader, but it does not also shield him from, or it does not shield him from members raising queries and petitioning for it to be relooked. So I think when all of it has been resolved to conclusion, then we can say that they were defeated. But as it stands, they have making good use of it, and it is us to have faith and put hope that eventually they'll be heard, because we've also had the party leader himself saying that now the generation that came in with Baba himself also need to make space for the young people.
I'll be coming to you on that because there's a deeper conversation on that as well. Humphrey, here's the reality. Somebody has said that the Kenyan youth in this country, we are So at that point, when one Raila Amolo Odinga had just passed, and Babu Wino was put on the spot when allegedly some members within the party were accusing him of using that opportunity upon the demise of one Raila Amolo Odinga to garner support within the party. Humphrey, do you know what he did? He called a presser, and he actually said, I will in this moment to ride on my popularity, to gain support within the party for any gain or favor in my political career. That's what he said. Humphrey, why not? Why not? That's the question. Why not? Why didn't he say, I am not taking it away from Baba, but if the supporters of the party feel that this is the time for me to rise, I'm not going to deny it. Why would Babu come? I'm not doing that. I'll never do that.
Elijah, I think that I disagree that youths are cowards. I think we have seen previously from the protests that were held because of the finance bill.
Yes.
And you saw a lot of, majorly, the people who are and it was a show of, that was a show of bold, it was a bold move and a very courageous move that even attracted the attention of the world. So coming to Babu's side, when the late Raila Amolo Odinga was laid to rest, that was in Kasarani.
That was in Kasarani, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So opportunity for Babu to popularize his candidature, but
Humphrey, he didn't say it. He just appeared, and then realized the supporters were actually fronting him. He didn't say it, and the only thing that we're hearing that guys who could possibly, lead ODM is Babu Wino, but he can't do that now because Obubu Odinga is now the party leader for ODM. I mean, this opportunity, it's presenting itself to him. Why can't he snatch it? And that's where people are saying, well, this is a cowardly move from him.
Yeah, yes, I believe Babu enjoys very big and very massive support nationwide, but the major his political base is in Nairobi, where he enjoys a very good support, courtesy of Member of Parliament. If you look at Babu's track record, he has been ranked several times as one of those best performing MPs, and I also understand that when the youth, the crowds cheered him to when he arrived at Kasarani, it was a bold move that it's time for him to take. We need to be considerate. The party itself has, it has structures, and I want, and that's why Winnie, when she was given a chance to speak during the ODM national NDC, she came out boldly to tell the leaders of ODM that ODM was formed from the trenches. It's a party of wananchi.
That's it.
So if the Odinga is gone, then we need to go back to the ground and listen to what the people have to say, and that is exactly what the youthful leadership, including Babu, Sifuna, and Winnie, are advocating for.
But here's the distinction from your statement this morning, Humphrey. But they haven't done it. I mean, all we hear is talk and talk when you're doing. But when it's time for action, can we see you do one of these things that you're talking about? It's nothing. I mean, up to now, Humphrey, you and I can't predict the point where once we see an action from the youthful leadership within ODM. I mean, I can't tell you that this is the plan that's been put in place. The youthful leadership within ODM hasn't even given their support any action plan that they can follow to garner support, to be listened to. We haven't seen it, Humphrey.
Yeah, but in this they are trying diplomacy.
Yes.
But it seems like the diplomacy is not working, because the senior party leadership is very adamant that they are going to stay in the broad-based. No, there is that is coming about with everyone has their own interests, because there's a segment of ODM that is enjoying. If they look at that, then they don't want to move away from the broad-based. But for the youthful leadership, you know, there is a generational shift. If you look at them, they are not here to be awarded positions. They are here to fight and to listen to the common mwananchi. And there was also, if you've been following keenly, Babu, Sifuna, and there's a lady.
Yes.
There's an alliance. They had formed the New Kenya Alliance, which they were together with the Caleb Hamisi. You know, I find this as an alternative. If the diplomacy in ODM is not going to work, then they will also find another alternative where to mobilize the youth and the larger population to garner that support, so that now they can have a voice in the political space.
That's it. Owen, listen to this one. And this one is from Slemani this morning. And I'll say what they're saying. The position of the youth in this country will never be known. And within ODM, we do not know the influence for Winnie Odinga. We do not know the influence of Sifuna. We do not know the influence of Babu. Those are just political celebrities. Those celebrities, that's what he's calling them this morning. But the only way we can truly know if the youth can chat away in this country, if they pull out of ODM today, stop complaining, and give youth in this country an alternative. Spot on?
Some of the sentiments I agree with them, some I disagree, because in some way surrender.
How is it going to be surrender when even Babu is saying, you guys have never given me an opportunity to speak, and I know if I try to speak again I'll be silenced. Sifuna is admitting live on stage that wadosi wake wataleta shida vile Babu ameongea. You listen to that speech. How is that surrender? I mean, when you're getting saddled, it's the best thing not to step out.
You see, when he is in a it does not prevent him from also running and chairing his own meetings. And like my good brother Humphrey had said,
yes,
that there have also been attempts of them making new alliances, the ones that have not only included the youthful ODM politicians that feel like they and other politicians also from other political outfits like UDA, a case in point, Wamushomba, working hand in hand with Caleb Hamisi and Babu Owino and Sifuna, and you've seen them trying to make rounds also across the country, trying to sell their own agenda and ambitions to the people. It is also common, you've heard on the streets, people saying that Babu himself, even if whether he's independent or any other political outfit, his prospects are good. Yes. So he shouldn't fear that now a meeting formed by others and is not allowed to speak then he should complain. No, he can always form his own meetings. They can always do their own programs, speak their own mind, and they should dare to dream, because they cannot. That this is now the time for you to speak, yes, or not to speak.
That's it.
Yes.
Owen, from where I was sitting this morning, 70% of Kenya's population is made up of people who are below the age of 35 years old. If you look at all these political parties in this country, you would struggle to name top 5 youthful leaders in these parties. You're going to struggle, especially the parties that are now in the running to the 2027 opposition. Look at ODM. Look at UDA. I mean, if I put you to task here this morning to say, just name for me 10 youthful leaders who are actually key decision makers in the way that these parties conduct themselves, you're going to be at pains. So how do we expect to sit here and say that the youth are going to make a decision in the 2027 general elections? They are nowhere. Owen, what is this thing? What is this point that we're trying to put across? They are nowhere. For people to win an election in this country, they win an election through political parties. The same political parties are the ones that have no youth in them. There's no youthful leadership in all these political parties. So why are we going to sit here and say, well, the youth are going to make a key decision in the 2027 general election? When somebody asks you, so where are they? They are nowhere to be found in these leading political parties, are they?
There are certain factors that hinder their progress in them attempting at these top leadership positions.
Yes.
Where we've seen youths that have progressed pretty well is on the MCA level, but that has not transited to these other seats like the members of parliament, yes, senators, governors, and eventually the topmost. Is as a result of certain factors, such as there's the capital issue, the campaign financing challenges for the youths.
Yes.
You find the established politicians, those who are more experienced and they've already accumulated a good amount of finance to do their campaigns. So it waters down the efforts of the young people, and have to look at ways also that we can make for the youth to have a level playing field with others. Even if we leave out the financing part, we are also having the cultural aspect within the country, whereby if a young person wants to vie, there are questions within the community asking, you are not yet married, you are still young, you can wait for another season. There are myriad of reasons that are limiting the youth from getting those things, but it is not that the youth are not capable.
Yes.
Yes.
That's it. Humphrey, same question as well. 70% of the Kenyan population is made up of individuals who are below the age of 35 years. Why is it difficult for these young people in this country to come together and say, we need a front our candidate, and by God, if youth in this country decide that we're going to vote for youth leadership, they're going to clinch it immediately because they have the numbers and they know that they have the numbers. Why is it difficult for us to get one voice in this country as young people? Why do we keep on complaining when the solution is right in our hands?
Really the right time for the youth to come up together and mobilize within their circles and have a leader who can propel the agenda of the youth. And I believe that we don't lack youthful leadership. We have had leaders who are performing and they have shown that they have the capacity to lead.
Yes.
And 70% of the population. I think one of the things that has been also hindering the youth from taking leadership is, the issue of voter registration.
Yes.
Previously, we have seen the turnout of youths during voting. It's very disappointing. The most people who come out to vote are our parents. For the youth, they take this issue as they don't take it with the seriousness that the elections deserve.
Yes.
Because if we continue complaining about the octogenarians leading us, and you are not taking a step in registration, you are not taking steps in vying for these positions, then it will be even these protests that we are.
Yes.
So we need, now it's the right opportunity. And I really want to, the last finance bill, it shed a lot of light on the youth. And now most of them are awake to the political activities that are going in the country. So this is now, I believe that moving forward, that we are going to have a good number of youth. And I want to encourage so many youths to go and take this to register as voters,
yes,
so that we stop complaining and we implement what we are talking.
Yes.
We have to walk the talk. Let's stop complaining, and yet we have the capacity to change the leadership,
yes,
and image of this country. That moving forward, we'll have a very good youth representation, and we are also, as youths who have also been given a mandate to serve the people. Another issue has been that some of the youth that they have been given these leadership positions, they are not performing. So now this also gives once we vote these guys, they'll turn out like these other politicians.
That's it.
So we also, if you are given positions to serve, do the work. And I believe that from there now, you can also now provide leadership to fellow youths.
That's it. Owen, Marianne is watching you this morning, and this is a submission. What is Owen saying? We should be ashamed of ourselves. Any other youth who's tried to rise in this country and present our voices has been shut down. Goes on to give examples. Do you remember one youth called Makure during the Gen Z protests presented himself as a choice? You guys trolled him, the mandate to lead you. Goes on to say, do you remember Morara Kebaso came out, asked for your support, and said, we need to overthrow this leadership in this country as a youth, but you laughed at him, scolded him, he gave up. Same thing that we are seeing in ODM right now, where when Millie stands to speak and present an idea, he is scolded by the same youthful leadership within ODM. Absolutely no experience. Clears with, I'm ashamed.
She ought not to be ashamed, because this is like a battle, so there has to be some push and pull.
Oh, who are we battling? Who are we battling as a youth in this country? When you say this is a battle, who are we battling?
You see, if silence you.
Yes.
That is, there has to be some form of protest against the people who are trying to stand on your right to express yourself freely.
That's it.
And it is not a classical war where now we have real ammunition or something, but it's just a stand of defiance of continuing to preach the gospel that you believe in. So if you believe in that you are supposed to fight for the people, you continue with that. And in every
true way that we can have youthful leadership in this country is by the youth themselves running for these top positions across the country.
Yes, it definitely, they have to.
But nobody's fronted themselves for the 2027 general elections. There are by-elections going on across the country on the 27th. You can see the faces that we're getting represented with. They're the same guys that we've recycled, stopping us from presenting these candidates.
What do you mean by saying that the same faces? Because if I see in Kaspur itself, I'm seeing a young man, Boyd. If I see Kariobangi
But he's running as an independent candidate, isn't it?
No, Boyd where is the ODM candidate.
Oh, the ODM candidate, yes. If
you come look at Kariobangi North, we are having several youths. We have Dangote of Safina.
Yes.
We have Majua of ODM. There's Wanyoike of DCP. And these are youthful. Even if you look at Mbere, is it Leo? Leo is a young man compared to the other, is it Wamudende? Yes. So youths are coming up and they're presenting themselves. So it is just wrong to put a blanket statement that youths are not coming out. They are, and like we had said, there are several factors that are also affecting them in their campaigning and going for this seat. And I would want to quote this MP called Anthony Kibagendi. He was giving his testimony. At one point, he was in ODM, and after, was it the 2013 or 2017 election, he was left out. So he felt offended, formed his own party, I think Kenya Patriotic Alliance. Then president, who was by then the deputy president, as his advisor. And having worked, coming to the election of 2022, then he came back to ODM. So that is a young person who had tried, and he had gone even to an extent of even forming his own political party. But the main point that we're supposed to learn is he didn't give up. He kept on trying different formulas until he got it right. So that is what we are supposed to be telling our youth. It is not that when you try this particular angle, it fails, then we cover our tails. No, we keep on trying, we fix where we got it wrong, and eventually we'll get it right.
That's it.
Yes.
On your response of Marianne, I'm going to give you 1 minute and also give you 1 minute. We take a tiny break, that we come back and complete it. That on your response for Marianne, that any other youth who's stood up in this country and said, I need to drive the youth to the top positions in this country. They've been. What will be your response on that, Owen?
Obviously, when you are going for something of interest to many people, you should expect opposing forces. So, in as much as some of our comrades, the opposing forces had managed to silence them, but not all have been silenced, because we, Babu Owino is, we are seeing Edwin Sifuna has kept up his, he has stepped up his continued message and hasn't changed. So that is the thing, or the key thing the youths need to have. In any competition, there are those people who are defeated and those people who emerge winners. So we just always have to have the imagination, the hope, the aspirations that we're going to clinch it. It is possible, and it's going to happen.
That's it. Humphrey, your response to that as well. Just take a minute. I'll come back from the break with you. that any youth who's ever risen in this country to say that I got what it takes to lead you to that top victory has been shut down by the youth themselves, according to Marianne.
I also tend to believe the statement is true, that leadership rising, but what has happened is that most of you have seen the youths themselves coming to oppose these youthful leaders who are championing for their agenda. But I also want to, some of the youthful leadership that were, I think you were saying about the protests.
Yes.
So if they were genuine in their pursuit for youthful, representation, some of them, I think, were just, looking for opportunities or scavenging for places where they can clinch for maybe getting, mere resources to support their activities. But if genuine in their quest for a shift in leadership, then they could not have joined other parties. They could have continued with their, they had, as my brothers put it, you have to put up a fight. Leadership is not given. You have to show people resilience.
Yes.
You have to show people that you can actually do it. So by the same governments or same coalitions where we were fighting against, then I don't think that the person during the first point was really fighting for the agenda of the youth.
That's it.
That was just something that was at the back of the mind, but the thing that he was considering was to get given some resources to facilitate their own activities.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I've got this quote that we're gonna go on a break with. Owen, once we come back, then we'll be talking about it. That in Kenya's history, it's proven that for you to be a top leader in this country, you gotta belong to either Party A or Party B. So the only way for the youth is to figure how to win power in this political. We'll start talking. Once we come from this break, do you believe that indeed the only way for the youth in this country is to get power within the political parties that are in existence in this country? Then after that, we can start talking. Is that what it is? Once we come back right here on The Morning Drift, we do know that the by-elections are happening across the country. We're also going to draw patterns and lessons from them on exactly what chances the youth have in clinching this. Still with Owen and Humphrey. Good morning.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, wapate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hawa sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Watazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just He will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like.
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed the life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
At Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. My name is Simba Elijah Charles King. Again, this is it. And from here, get solutions that the youth can actually get to follow so that we talk about a different story in 2027. This is it, Owen. I'm going to read for you numbers here that are going to paint the true picture of where the youth in this country are. Now, in our last census report, 70% of the Kenyan youth are below the age of 35 years old. In 2022, 22 million Kenyans were on that voters register. Those are Kenyans who registered and were eligible to vote. Now, when you break it down further, when IEBC was giving us that breakdown, out of these 22 million Kenyans who registered to vote, only 8 million were of people below the age of 35 years old. Now, let's continue. If you go down to the number of people voted, 14 million Kenyans turned out to vote. I mean, the numbers are just for you to break down. If 22 million are adults, and only 8 million are the youthful, and then only 14 million of this 20 million turn out to vote, there's somebody who made an assumption yesterday to show us the young people voted in this country. Somebody told me, Simba, you'll not be surprised that only 2 million young Kenyans turned out to vote in that general election for 2022. So then he looks at me and goes like, do you know who knows this data? Because every election is informed by numbers, that every campaign is informed by numbers. It is the same people here, the old guys, positions. It is the same people here that you're complaining have been on these seats for more than 14 years in one position. So it goes like, if you guys don't register, if you guys don't vote, what is the reason of you making noise here about us going to make a change in 2027 when we know very well that come 2027 as well, those numbers are not going to be any different. That pattern has been the same since the 2002 general election. So Owen, 20 years down the line, still young people in this country do not register to vote, and even when they register, they do not go and vote. So can't we say then, Owen, that we're wasting time here? So why would you come and present an assertion that they're going to make a change in the 2027 election when probably you're the only one who's registered to vote, Owen?
I think intentionality with the system that is making even the youth to behave in that particular pattern. Because there was a time a fee was introduced for one to go get a national ID.
Yes.
And you find that most of these youths, they don't have income, and even to raise that 1,000 shillings is a problem. And that is why even the government had tried to introduce something like Hustler. And one interesting fact, even payback is a challenge. So it goes to show that youths would want to get these IDs, even for them to go get jobs. But because there's 1,000 fee there put, it hinders. Another challenge could be there has not been that periodic exercise of registering youths, because right now, because we are heading towards 2027 election, at the final stretch is when they are bringing about registering. What happened the last 3 years? Or they can put up a system whereby as you're acquiring your national ID, you're also getting a voter's card. And equally, the fee should be waived. It should not be used for political discourse or political advantage. Like right now, you are hearing the government has now waived that fee so that youths would go for IDs.
That's it.
Another challenge also, we also have youths also in marginalized. A case in point, those people who had some thorough verification. So you find for them, for their population, for the youth to get that ID, it might take a long duration, or it might be quite hard for them to just get to have one. And if they get it, maybe it's at their late age.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty much. Okay, same question, and I want you to attach your sentiments with this submission here from one Kevin, who's saying, in this country, either in A or B for you to win an election. No wonder he's saying the likes of Babu, the likes of Sifuna can't think about stepping out of ODM now because they got to figure on which side they're going to be come 2027 for even their positions that they currently hold. But then, even as you respond to that, Humphrey, that number is I mean, even all issues that might be underlining why majority of you do not vote, but that ratio, it's quite huge, Humphrey. 70% of the Kenyan population. I mean, you go by the 48 million in the last census report, then you're talking about 30-something million, actually more than, that should be in that voters register as young people registered to vote. But they're not there, Humphrey. They aren't there. Only 8 million. We do not know how many voted out of the 8 million. What is the problem? Are we just solving the wrong problem here? Is it possible that even the youthful leaders in this country know very well that when it comes to making that decision, that will give me that position, young people are not there? No wonder we've not seen them take any action in this country.
Yeah, I want to agree with you. The numbers don't lie. And if you look at, as you have just read, the previous elections, the number of youths coming out to vote is very, very low.
Yes.
And I think this has been serious. I can also attribute this to, I mean, we have not been having this kind of civic engagement on the importance of voting. You see, civic education, especially in enlightening people on the importance of voting, because now, if people are enlightened that if you vote bad leaders, then I mean the economy is not going to do well. There will be no money in the pockets of people. And I also want to be, there's also an issue that, you know, most of the youths have a perception that, you know, politics, the old generation, if most of them, they shy away from discussing political matters.
Yes.
And these are things that are affecting them. You know, they see it as, you know, that, you know, parents see the reality. You know, they are the ones, when the economy is not doing well, they are supposed to provide for their families. They are supposed to pay school fees. And now, if you look at most of these youthful leadership, those concrete roles or responsibilities.
Yes.
So they don't take this as a very serious matter. But now But now you can see there's a lot of civic education going on or in the internet, and also even across, there are different also NGOs that train the youth on the importance of voter registration, and that one now I believe that one is going to affect the upcoming elections in 2027 and other upcoming elections, because now the youth themselves have seen and are experiencing what bad leadership can do to them. Most of them are lacking. I mean, if you go to these universities, you can see there was affecting them directly. So now they are starting to feel the heat.
Yes.
And now going forward, they will have to come out in large numbers so that they choose the leaders who have their interests at heart.
Yes.
And now coming to also to your question about Babu and Sifuna, on whether why it's either A or B. If also you look at the voting, I know it has been a very, the voting pattern has been very, very tribalistic. If you look at for example, ODM.
Yes.
ODM is perceived as a Luo, most of the people, if you talk of ODM, they perceive it as a Luo party. If you look at parties like DCP, people are looking it from a Kikuyu angle. And then, not Kikuyu, but let me say, as Rigathi puts it, if you look at also UDA, it's perceived as, you know, as a Rift Valley party. So when these leaders are going to, persuade voters, you know, they also understand that though we are making attempts to get rid of this tribal, but again, the Kenyan voter, I don't think, has really changed, and even League was putting it, they are in a trial and error phase. You know, you're trying to experiment with new ideas, whether the people are going to vote issue-based, or are they still going to vote according to their tribes.
Yes.
So at the moment they are in a limbo. So they have to really strategize. You know, you have to strategize and see what can give you that gubernatorial seat or running for.
Yes.
So they are in limbo.
That's it.
They are trying to articulate issue-based politics, but also they're also looking at what if these Gen Zs or the youths are going to disappoint us during the voter turnout. So they also have to consider that when they are doing their calculations.
Yes.
So that's why they are still in that. They are still in limbo.
That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Oh, and two issues then that I'm presenting here today. And it's a good thing. Today we're receiving good reception then on this conversation. Now, this is Marianne as well. We're going to continue with what she's presenting. She says, long lines for voting, long lines for... Those are things that are not appealing for the young people. One. And then she goes on to say, those numbers are not going to change. Owen.
Definitely she's right at certain points. I'd hope to see a change in the way registration is going on. Unfortunately, it is recording low numbers.
Yes.
So, like we said, you can't fight numbers. It lays things bare. That is the sad state of affair. Concerning the long queues, those could be one of the many reasons as to why certain quotas of youths are absconding. And like I'd say, there are several. That is just one of them. There's also an issue with how parties conduct their primaries. Yeah. And the voters themselves are with him or her. But the party goes to give a direct ticket to somebody else, or they say there's a consensus, we're supporting another particular candidate, and they leave out the popular one. So the voters who are followers of the candidate, they are like demoralized as to why they should go and vote. And even to some certain extent, they have been employed even on high-stake elections. If we remember back in 2022, we have an electoral body that knew that there would be an election then. But you find like certain elections, like for governor's case, like in Mombasa, it couldn't happen on that material day. They had to post. So yeah.
That's it.
So you find it is done deliberately in areas where maybe somebody sees it will be out of favor, so they do the opponent a disservice. So those are just electoral challenges that we are facing.
Yes.
But the youth shouldn't give up.
That's it.
They should just register, keep on registering, and they should be participating.
That's it.
Yes.
All right. Then, do you think it's time that we change party constitutions where specific positions should only be held by youthful leadership? Case in point, deputy party leaders, some of them should be put aside for youthful leadership, and not just have youth leaders within the party. Do you agree that probably now the best route for the likes of Winnie is to go in and challenge the constitution of ODM and say, today, henceforth, one position for a deputy party leader should be held by somebody who is below this particular age, which would make the likes of Babu directly qualify for being a major leader within these political parties.
Kind of law
would... Owen, we are. Look at it, we are. Babu can't speak. Babu was saying our dosi when he was presenting in Mombasa. That's the same way I would protest in an NDA company meeting. But I've been told, ukiongea mbaya utatoka. Is that not limping, Owen?
You see, we don't also want to have a scenario whereby now everyone is looking at a youth as if they're not capable. We are energetic. We also have strategies, yes. And we can also challenge even the senior citizens at that seat. On matters of...
Owen, on that statement,
because we don't...
Babu today decided to hold rallies across the country and rally the national delegates for ODM to go for an election, and he says, ODM, do you think he's going to survive in ODM?
The owners of the party will fight back.
And that's what I'm saying. But is it not easy? Is it not easy for Babu Wino then, and the likes of Winnie Odinga, and the likes of Edwin Sifuna to go in and say, look here, we're changing that constitution, we're going to vote on it. Some of these positions are going to be a reserve for the young people of the likes of Sifuna directly qualify for these positions. Owen.
Diamonds are made out of intense heat, and it is a challenge up to them that they need to be brave enough and put their best foot forward and challenge the status quo. Otherwise, we'll always be remaining to be under the shadows of those who wield the capability to influence decisions. We shouldn't be selling fear to youth. Let Babu dare. Let him, if he can be able to go across the country and marshal the NDC to his favor, it's well and good. So let the Swahili say, mwenye nguvu mpishe. Yes, at this particular point, it is not about sympathizing and playing weak. Yes. He just has to be tough and the youth. He might actually be the beacon of hope that the youths are looking forward to, because we've had several voices that were silenced. And if he's able to reignite that, I think there will be a spark in his political life.
That's it. Humphrey, I'm going to put this to you as well, because I know you are a youth leader and you have a constitution that you have to run by. There's something that we as the Kenyan women leadership and women representation in leadership. And the only way we did it is we went back to the constitution and introduced positions that were a preserve for women leaders. And what we've seen is that these positions have been able to catapult some women into top leadership positions in this country. Is it no? And that's the same question that I put to Owen. I mean, if you're not breaking the ice, all right, why can't we then parties to actually come in and say, on this issue of leadership within these political parties, number one, women representation, youth representation, and top leadership positions within these parties. You need to hit this quota before you can come to us and say that this party is a party that is registered under the constitution of this country. One that it would give Babu Wino, the likes of Sifuna, the likes of Winnie Odinga, a free ticket to probably a deputy party leader within ODM or a party leader within ODM. Is it proper we begin from there? Or are you going to say, nah, like Owen is saying this morning?
I agree with you that actually some of the things that the youth that are hindering the youth from clinching some of these seats is some of them is due to financial challenges. The amount, the funds that you need to run party primaries.
Yes,
it's a huge amount, and for some of these young people who are ready to take leadership, it's gonna be a difficult task.
Yes.
So, I also believe that if the registrar of an article or something that is entrenched within the constitution,
yes,
so that to include these youths in the political parties, and then it will be a great step. So that from there now, if you are given now the mandate, as to serve the people, to serve the party,
yes,
you also have to prove that now you can do the work. Because of the financial challenges, it's just right that we entrench this leadership, the youthful leadership in the constitution,
yes,
so that we get so many representation
Yes.
of youthful voices in different political parties championing for fresh ideas in this country.
That's it. All right, gentlemen, as we come to the end of this conversation, Owen, what could be the next step for Winnie Odinga?
Winnie Odinga's case is quite interesting because the party leader also gave a signal that they'll sort it kinyumbani. So we don't know after that kinyumbani talks, she will come out the same or not.
Yes.
But if she truly means whatever she said, talks shouldn't hinder her from doing what is right or fighting for what is right. He should take after the father. He also dared, and to some extent when he had differed with Ford Kenya, he resigned and went to a by-election and clinched it back. And that is how he forged his route. So she means well for the youth of Kenyans.
That's it. Just before I leave you and ask the same question to Humphrey. Humphrey, you're going to come in. Do you want to jump in right now before I go back to Owen?
Yeah,
Yes.
the issue of also, there's also an issue of the political parties having the youth leagues.
Yes.
So another formula that I think now the political, the senior leadership,
Yes.
the senior citizens in the political parties can actually implement is of this the youth league. So from there, you know what these youthful voices need is actually, mentorship and also financial support.
Yes.
So we can start with these youth leagues, and when given the support,
yes,
when given the support, I believe that the youth can actually move around to actually implement the agenda they are talking about.
That's it.
Because most of the time you find, you are talking, but there's little implementation. But with financial support, and I want to urge the senior leadership positions of political parties,
yes,
to hold hand these youths that have the capacity that are in the youth leagues, so that they can work together with them in their rallies, in their even in the nomination processes. They can actually learn from these processes, and from learning it's actually now making them
yes,
to be these future leaders who can come up with like good ideas to implement in this country.
Pretty much. Owen, this is what the Standard called Winnie Odinga. Does she have to abandon her East African politics and come back and do local politics if the editorial department at Standard Media tends to think that she is a Raila reincarnate just because of that declaration of saying, my uncle here, I don't think he's got what it takes, to take us into the 2027 general elections?
I think so far from the since the passing on of the former Prime Minister, she has been consistent, and she's speaking the way Raila would have spoke were he alive right now. And he's making moves similar to the fathers. So we're just waiting her to not cower, to take the mantle. If it requires her to resign from the Yala duty to come on national duty, she's welcome. I think she even told the president, was it in Nyayo, that now she's ready to come home.
Yes.
Let her come home.
That's it.
Yeah.
Humphrey, do you believe that she's a Raila reincarnate just by that declaration, right in the face of the uncle, saying, we don't think you are able to lead this party into the 2027 general elections?
I believe Winnie is actually Amolo Odinga. The bold and the courage to speak the truth to the leadership. You know, it reminds us back of what Raila used to do.
That's it.
You could not shy away from speaking the truth. And this speaking the truth is what made Raila unique. So Winnie step into the shoes of Raila, but she can make an attempt to at least fit in the shoes of Raila. So right now she's serving in the Yala Parliament, but she's also welcome to carry out the national politics, as my brother has put it.
That's it. Whew. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming by. Guess what? I'll call you back after 27th. How the youthful leadership in this country shall have performed after 27th, then come table another conversation whether indeed the youth are the key leaders in the 2027 general election. I'll call you back again. So let me just clear like this. This is one note that I've seen here from Owen. Owen is saying, these are numbers. Easy. Ayo story wasahau. And it's actually true that if those numbers, by the way, do not change, the 8 million, if they do not change to probably something like 30 million as from tomorrow, we should forget as well. It's actually true. So if you're a young person in this country, make sure that you've taken your vote, you've confirmed where your polling station is, and you're ready to go make that decision in a 2020. That's the only way we can make a decision in this country as young people. Thank you very much for being a part and parcel of our show this morning. Take our guests back to the time that he joined us in our studio this morning at Lookup TV across all your social media platforms. For me and the rest of the Lookup morning department this morning is a goodbye. See you again tomorrow for more conversations.